think we can get more guests.
We're live. Not really. Oh man, I'm ready to crush it today.
Yeah, man.
What's up, everybody?
Ready to get going?
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You want to start it off?
No, man, that's your thing. Let's.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 22nd episode within the Fire Bros podcast series. We're here January 26, 2020 today. And as always, I'm Marcus Burks, and this is Albert Walters.
Hey, guys! Happy to be here as always. We're excited. We got a lot for you today. Then a special surprise at the end.
Yeah.
About something new we're gonna do. I got something in my throat. Do I sound weird on yours?
No.
Do I sound weird? Oh man, I feel like I sound weird on mine. Okay, my echo's not on. That's nice. That'd be funny.
Yeah, mine ain't on either. That would be funny. Yeah, we're excited to be back. We got a lot to talk about today. We took a week off. Albert was getting moved into a new place.
Yeah, I told you all. When Brandon was on the podcast, I think I announced I was going to move. So I just moved to Blacksburg, and I love it.
Yep.
So I had you all over. Oh, dude, I meant to ask. Maybe I shouldn't ask on the podcast. How'd that test go?
Oh, it went good, man. I passed. Yeah. I'm a CPT certified G.
What?
Certified personal trainer, finally. But
certified poo man.
we also took a week off because we had to bask in the greatness of Connor McGregor. We were just so shocked that we couldn't do the podcast right after.
So shocked the conspiracies of it being fixed might be true.
Yeah.
But
we can actually just get into that first.
You want to get into? Okay, yeah. That's not on that's third on the list, but we'll dive into it now. So as you all know by now, Connor McGregor beat Cowboy in 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I expected. This is exactly what I called. I said he would finish Cowboy under 2 minutes. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I know a lot of people predicted it would go like this. Cowboy doesn't do good in those big fights. I don't understand why. And I mean, just coming off 2 losses where he got TKO'd, I feel like it's just tough. You know what I'm saying? To come back and fight McGregor. I like Cowboy a lot as a fighter, but I didn't think he should have got this fight. I thought McGregor should have came back on a fight that would have provided him with more competition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Diaz or Gaethje or somebody.
Yeah.
Well, so there's a lot of talks out there in the world of UFC that this was fixed. They said Cowboy kind of looked like he quit, kind of gave up, kind of threw the fight. Now a lot of people said that about McGregor when he fought Mayweather. So what's your thoughts on this? Do you think Cowboy threw the fight?
No, man, I don't think Cowboy threw the fight. I mean, I think he's he's a guy that provides a lot of realness about himself. He said there's not enough money in the world to sell out to fix a fight. I believe that for Cowboy.
You believe it?
Yeah, I believe that Cowboy is one of those guys who cares about his legacy. Like, he loves fighting. He's not doing it for the money. Obviously, I mean, you do it for the money. But he loves fighting at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? He loves it so much that he would probably fight for less money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he fights all the time. So, no, I don't think that was fixed. I just couldn't see it with Cowboy being fixed. I just think that those two are on different levels. They're on different tiers. Cowboy can never seem to beat these top 5 guys, and I think that's what it was.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. It seemed a little short, but also if you look at the fight, there was a head kick McGregor landed.
Yeah, dude.
Now, if he didn't land that, it would be hard for me to believe that it would have ended in 40 seconds in the first round. But I don't know.
These shoulder strikes are the interesting thing that everybody was talking about. These are what stunned Cowboy. Cowboy was stunned after these shoulder shots. I believe one of the shoulder shots broke his nose. Do you
believe that though? Because there was a lot of fighters
he got a broken
combating that.
Yeah, he got a broken nose and he had a broken orbital.
But was that from that head kick? Because that's where that landed.
I think the orbital's from the head kick. Yeah, because the orbital's right here. So I think that one's from the head kick. He's pretty messed up from this. He's suspended 160 days. This isn't 2020 is not going to be that Cowboy that fights frequently throughout the year. Medical suspension.
Oh, okay, medical
160 days. So, I mean, we're not going to see Cowboy fight 5 times a year this year. Probably only see him fight 2.
Maybe 3.
Yeah, maybe 3, yeah.
Because, he could, fight, right at that 160-day mark and then fight at the end of the year. I mean, knowing Cowboy, that's... Yeah, that might be what we'll see because he's that dude who's always fighting.
Yeah, and see, a lot of people had problems with these shoulder strikes. Like a lot of fighters came out and said that was weak. That Cowboy's chin's weak. I don't think that. I wouldn't call any fighter weak what they're doing. But I mean, obviously, fighters can say that because they know what they're going through. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I would never say that. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that with Stephen A. Smith. We're going to talk about him.
Well, we'll follow up with that. Yeah. But do you think Cowboy has a weak chin? Because I really don't.
I don't know, man. I just think he struggles with strikers. I'm not going to say he has a weak chin because, I mean, he went out there and beat Alexander Hernandez. He went out there and beat Alaquinta. But, these are guys just right inside the top 10, right below it.
Yeah, Cowboy's at that 5. He's beating everyone below the 5, but nobody above the 5.
He can't beat nobody above the 5.
Yeah. So that kind of sucks. So there's, of course, with Matt McGregor comes controversy. So with this being such a short fight, and with, like you said, with those shoulder hits,
yeah, and there was a
lot of fighters who were like, that ain't gonna do nothing.
Michael Bisping, in general, he said that shoulder strikes, he was like, I don't care who you're going against, they're not powerful enough to do damage. He was like, shoulder strikes are just an annoyance. Yeah. That's what he stated during the podcast, which I don't know. I've never been hit with a shoulder strike, so I'm just, or you haven't either. I'm just basing it off of what actual fighters are saying.
I'd imagine, the physics behind it.
Yeah.
Your shoulders doesn't have as much
you're not getting a full range of motion. And
I'd rather someone hit me with a shoulder than a fist. I would definitely take that. I think maybe wrestling, maybe we've done that a couple times.
Yeah.
As kids, but not purposely a shoulder.
Yeah.
So. Oh well. What do you think's next for McGregor? Really, he has a lot of options.
So before we get into that, I have a problem with how all of these celebrities and stuff and a lot of casuals responded to. You know what I'm saying?
Responded to what?
After McGregor won, I wanted him to win. I thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a full-on McGregor fan. I'm a Diaz fan, so obviously I root for Diaz. McGregor is.
You're thinking strategically you wanted him to win,
but. After the fight, all these people, LeBron James, all these people who watch one fight a year, they watch that McGregor fight. They were like, "Oh, the king is back," and as we seen on Instagram, Khabib's sitting there like, "Oh, I've been here the whole time."
Yeah,
He posted that video of him sweating in the gym, sitting down, and he was like, "I've been here the whole time."
Yeah,
and I don't understand how all these celebrities and stuff. This just shows you that they're casuals. They was like, the king is back. He's one of the greatest. He just beat a guy that really hasn't beaten any of the top fighters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He hasn't beaten any top fighters. So it's pretty much, I don't know what to compare it to, but I mean, it's kind of like, oh, okay, Connor came back and beat somebody who's ranked number 10 in the welterweight division.
Is he number
top
10?
15. I don't know what Cowboy is.
I mean, I got.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, the king's back. He came back and beat the number 10 seed.
You can call. I know we're going to get into this later, but you can call Cyborg the king or really the queen, whatever, because she goes over to Bellator. Her first fight in Bellator, fights their champion and beats her, and it was ugly too. You can call her the king.
Yeah.
because she is like
she beat the top person.
First time ever fought her.
Yeah.
First time in that, in that what am I trying to say? The promotion. First time in that promotion. The first fight you get in one promotion, you fight the champ, and you kicked her butt.
Didn't take a warm up fight. Like McGregor took a warm up fight. Him and his team know they took this fight against Cowboy because they knew what the outcome was gonna be. Yeah. They seen holes in Cowboy's game. Yeah. And they jumped on them.
Yeah. So now if he would have fought Gaethje for his first fight, or Diaz, or Masvidal, or Khabib, I think it would have been a completely different fight.
Yeah, we would have had to see McGregor use more of his arsenal. Yeah. Now, with a Gaethje fight, I still think Gaethje hasn't beat those top guys either.
Has he got to fight those top guys, though? Like, I don't think he's gotten
fought Poirier. He fought Poirier. He lost. He fought Eddie Alvarez at the time when Eddie Alvarez was top 5.
Yeah, top.
He lost. He hasn't really gotten any good fights since then. But I believe McGregor would fight Gaethje different because you have to respect the punching power of Gaethje.
Yeah.
I still think he would beat him because Gaethje...
sloppy.
Yeah, he's got beat by people that McGregor starched. So, I mean, I know that's kind of MMA math, but I'm going to go with MMA math on that one.
Yeah. Now, I think if he would have fought Diaz, Masvidal, or Khabib, it would not have been the same fight. So... Chris Cyborg's the king because she didn't take a warm-up fight.
Yeah.
McGregor did.
And that's why I have a problem with it. I have a problem with everybody coming out. I mean,
like he's the king,
dude,
he's the king.
On social media, I've seen, people that I'm friends with on social media, they was tweeting about it and doing all this. I'm like, really? Like,
you don't even watch this.
You never even watched it. Like,
you just know his name.
Yeah.
Like, it's annoying. And there's casuals. They just they get on your nerves because they don't understand.
I mean, I'm glad they watch it. I just wish they would get into it more instead of just being like, "Oh, Connor's back."
Yeah, it's like because Cowboy's a big name, so you're thinking, "Oh, wow, he came back and beat this big name in 40 seconds." But it's like, no, look at the math behind it. Cowboy's, one of my favorites, but he can't beat a top 5.
I don't even think Cowboy's. I think that might have been his first time headlining a pay-per-view. He might have did it before. He's mainly headlining fight nights all his career.
Yeah.
He mainly was the headliner of fight nights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he has the most wins in UFC history and stuff, but
he also fights like 5 times a year.
Yeah.
So, but it's it's just annoying. Like you said, he ain't the king. Because he's lost to a whole lot of people in the UFC. Khabib has not lost once in the UFC. So,
and see, like, I agree with some people's comments on this. Obviously, I'm a Nate Diaz fan, but somebody caught up with him last night at Bellator. He was cornering somebody last night at that Bellator event. I believe it was like Bellator 238 or something. But they asked him what he thought about the fight, and he was like, I didn't think anything about it. He was like, it was weak. He was like, Connor fought Cowboy. Cowboy doesn't care about winning or losing. And I kind of agree with that statement. Like, Cowboy, he likes to fight so much. I feel like maybe he doesn't, I don't know, like, watch video enough and stuff and prepare for the opponents, like, strategically.
I think he just wants to fight.
Yeah, I think he just pretty much wants to get out there and fight. Like he states, if he could fight every weekend, he would. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he fights, like, a healthy Cowboy fights every 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, but let's get into let's talk about what's going to be next for Cowboy first. We'll talk about it.
That's kind of hard, man, because we've got 160 days. This weight class has it's so dynamic.
And
we have so many fighters.
It doesn't have to be a person. It can just be a statement of where you think he's going to be.
Oh, well, he'll be back in 160 days and fight.
Yeah.
Now, it's super hard to predict who, because this isn't like the heavyweight class. The heavyweight mostly the heavyweight, where there's only a few people. This is, there's a lot of people it could be. So it's kind of hard to predict who Cowboy will fight next, but he's not out. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna be fighting until he's 50.
Yeah. I I agree. He loves it. And I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. I think he's 35, 36. I could see him being like Romero and them and fighting into their 40s, 44, 43,
Yeah,
Um, but
I think we at least have 10
I
years with
do
him.
not think he's going to get a top 15 fight.
Well, he's gonna
I
have to
see
get more
him.
wins.
I don't even see him headlining a fight night for a while. I think if he gets a couple of wins under his belt, that's what he'll go back to doing is kind of headlining fight nights. I do not see him getting the big fight anymore. I know a lot of people have stated this on their podcast. I do believe that was his last like
Big
big
fight.
fight. That was his
I
last
mean,
chance to get that big win to get towards that title. I believe that was kind of his last chance.
we might see a second, not a second, really like a fourth or fifth win with Cowboy where he's hitting another peak. Because we've seen it a lot in his career.
Oh, I mean, I
We've
wouldn't be against it. He was kind of down and out, and then he came on this big winning streak. He got that fight against Tony Ferguson. If he would have won that, it would have been him fighting Khabib instead of Tony Ferguson.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So we've seen Cowboys wins and losses are like a mountain range.
yeah,
They keep going. Then when they're down, they're down. Then when they're up, they're up.
yeah,
He's not one of these fighters that has like one loss and then like keeps going back to wins and wins and wins. And same thing, he's not like one fighter who has a bunch of losses then gets one win and goes back to a bunch of losses. So I think we're going to see another peak of wins with him. But given his age, that might be his last.
yeah.
I definitely think we'll see him. His next 2 or 3 fights are just gonna be casual fights.
I feel
Casual
like he's
fights.
gonna be fighting. He's gonna be fighting people fresh off the Contender Series.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like sort of. I believe his next role is gonna be. He's sort of gonna be like a gatekeeper to people.
Maybe. Yeah, and I think that's fair. And then
I
once he
mean,
does
whether
well,
he chooses to let them through the gate or not, but I feel like he's gonna get those like gatekeeper kind of fights.
yeah, exactly. Then after those, I think he'll win a few of those. Then start
Yeah.
kind of working his way up to people like Alaquinta and
Mhm.
Ferguson. People who are kind of on that back 10, like they're around 10th. Um, then I think he'll just kind of get closer. But I think I don't think he'll get another fight this
Yeah.
big. But I think he'll have another
I
another
heard.
win streak.
I actually heard this, and I like this fight for him. People are. One rumor was stating him versus Anthony Pettis when he comes back.
That would be a good fight.
I like that. I like that at 170. They both have had a rough couple of fights. I believe they're both on 3-fight
Losing
losing
streaks.
streaks.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a lot of sense. That would be something that could headline a fight night and have one of them make make a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad for either one of them.
So that would be nice to see.
That would be.
I think that would make sense.
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Well, then, what do you think's next for McGregor?
Now I know there's a lot of stuff. Like I was one of the people vouching for Masvidal to be next. After McGregor won, I thought that fight made a whole lot of sense. But now I just believe that it was going to be a good fight, like for the money and stuff. And I believe that I don't know how it would go, man. I really can't predict it because we seen Diaz had his struggles with Masvidal. I really couldn't predict how that would go, but I think we're going to see Masvidal versus Usman next. I do not believe Dana's going to hold up that 170-pound division anymore. That's one of the premier divisions in the UFC, that and 155. I don't believe you can hold those up. Heavyweight's getting held up right now. Henry Cejudo's holding up 135. He's held up the 125-pound division. You can't keep holding up these divisions. So I believe we'll see Masvidal versus Usman next. Khabib and Tony are fighting. Then Khabib, he practices that Ramadan where he goes on a fast, and that pretty much lasts the whole summer. He goes on like a fast for his religion. So that'll pretty much last the whole summer. So, I mean, if Khabib and Connor were to fight, we wouldn't see them fight until late 2020. Yeah. Connor stated that he wants to fight, I think he said 3 times in 2020. So he wants to fight over the summer. So really the only thing that makes sense to me is Nate Diaz. And that third fight needs to happen. It needs to happen now, while they're both still in their primes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Dana doesn't need to. I know Dana has stated that he recently came out and said his biggest regret was not making Brock Lesnar versus Fedor Emelianenko when he had the chance. You cannot drop the ball on this fight. You have to make this third fight while they're both still in their primes.
Yeah.
And the timeline is set. Khabib is going to be busy with Tony. Then right after Tony, he starts Ramadan in May. I do not believe Ramadan. I don't know too much about it, but I don't believe it ends till end of July or something. Like it lasts that latter part of the summer. You can't. I mean, fighters in the past have fought during fasting, but there's no reason to.
Well then, so Khabib's out of it.
Yeah, Gaethje, it could still happen.
Gaethje's kind of on
but
the
he's
back
not
burner,
a big
though.
name.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not a big name, and right now, after a win like that, Gaethje's gone because he's not a big name. Now if Gaethje would have keep winning and winning and winning, and was more of a needle mover, I agree. Gaethje might be next.
And to me as a fanatic, Gaethje is a big name to me.
Yeah,
and if you're a fanatic in the UFC, he's a big name. But you know what I'm saying.
You ain't seeing him on posters. You ain't seen him right here.
Yeah.
And that's who McGregor is going to fight next.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he's fighting poster childs. And so it's not Gaethje. It's not Khabib. It ain't going to be Mayweather. Mayweather,
they're supposedly going to agree on something in the summer. Supposedly Dana said him and Mayweather are going to discuss who Mayweather will be fighting next.
Yeah, but that's if that's in the summer, McGregor's wanting to fight in the summer. So that so Mayweather won't be next. So really you're looking at Diaz, Masvidal, or Usman. Now I could see them doing Masvidal and McGregor. Mm-hmm. Just because it's a big money fight.
I see it and I wanted it. But
I wanted too.
Now, the way Dana's kind of acted, and I understand him not wanting to hold up that division, I just kind of think, I'm not saying I want Diaz to happen because, as big as a Diaz fan I am, I'm saying look at the timeline. Yeah. Look at the amount of opponents he could fight. Him or Gaethje is the only one that makes sense with the timeline. As much as he wants to fight, he did not take any damage. He can fight again.
He can fight next week.
Yeah, he was saying he wanted to fight again on this March card.
Yeah.
So he could, definitely, we're going to see Connor McGregor back during the summer, I would assume.
By the end of the summer.
I believe we're going to see him on, they might do a humongous July card, and we'll see McGregor on that
wouldn't
July
be bad.
card.
Or April or May.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see it being Masvidal because I know he doesn't want to hold up. I know Dana White does not want to hold up these divisions, but I also know that that's a hell of a fight to make right now. Nobody's holding a belt out of those two, so that's good. Or wait, does Masvidal still have a belt?
He got the BMF belt. Yeah, he carries it around.
Sorry, doesn't McGregor still have a belt or no?
I mean, he still has his belts. You get your belts once you win them, and they make new belts for the champion.
But no, he's not holding a belt in any division. Okay.
At all.
So it's not a title shot. Now I know Diaz and McGregor would be awesome.
Yeah.
But Diaz just lost, so maybe.
I'm the same way. I wanted to see Masvidal and McGregor. Yeah.
I'm kind of torn in the middle. I don't think it's going to be McGregor and Usman.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be either McGregor and Masvidal or McGregor and Diaz. And I'm stoked for either fight.
Yeah.
I think I'd get more into it if it was Masvidal.
Yeah.
But because I'm a huge Masvidal dude.
I think Masvidal's the biggest star in the UFC right now based on what he's been doing. I know Khabib's undefeated and stuff, but I think Masvidal is the biggest star right now.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, everybody wants a piece of him.
Yeah.
So I think if McGregor was offered the same money but had Diaz or Masvidal, I think he would rather go for Masvidal. Well, I don't know, because both of them are going to be big publicity fights. Mm-hmm. It's either Diaz and McGregor 3 or Masvidal and McGregor 1. and either one's going to be a hell of a
I
fight.
mean, if he got both of those, I would hope he would take Masvidal because Masvidal's that big name.
And I think that's why he would go for Masvidal.
Masvidal's the guy. If you beat Masvidal, you're the guy.
Yeah, if you beat, like, because he knows that. Like, right now, Masvidal's at the top.
Yeah.
Like, sure, Usman holds the belt. Who gives a shit about Usman when you're talking about Masvidal? So
nobody cares about that belt. What Masvidal's been doing.
No, everyone wants that BMF. Now, like, obviously, you ain't gonna fight for it unless Masvidal's like, fine, like, I'll fight you for my belt. Like, and if you beat me, like, you can have my belt.
Well, that he offered. So he supposedly said that, I watched the video on it. He said, "I'll put my BMF belt on the line, and you have to put." Like, it was like 10% stake of your proper whiskey on the line. And I was like, hey.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
I mean, obviously, they're not going to let him have that if he would. I mean, I'm sure
like, if you made a contract.
Masvidal would be smart about it and, like, make him sign stuff.
Saying, yeah, like, obviously, you'd have to, like, sign stuff. But, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So, I think he would go for Masvidal because Diaz and McGregor 3 would be awesome, but everybody wants to beat Masvidal right now, and nobody will. He's at that, like, he's right here right now, like he's at the top, and I don't think he's coming down.
I think it's gonna suck.
He got some of that juju.
It's gonna suck when he faces Usman, and then Usman just wants to hold him the whole time. That's gonna suck, and I feel like
he might win, but it'll be a bullshit win. Like, it ain't gonna be like a war. Yeah. It's, we're gonna be watching Olympic wrestling.
He's gonna eventually meet one of these guys that's just gonna hold him the whole time and take him down, and he's not even gonna be able to use that power he has.
Yeah, but I think Masvidal's such a good fighter that right now, if he knew he was gonna fight Usman, he'd be able to defend against those takedowns.
Now he claims that his wrestling and stuff is very elite. So
we haven't got to see it.
We haven't got to see it.
We got to see his flying knee.
Yeah.
But
got to see that brutal head kick that scared me to death against Diaz.
I wish they would not have called that.
Yeah,
because that was a fun fight.
Yeah.
I remember you were like that kid at B-Dubs. You were like shit. Like that was your mood.
Oh, inside, dude. I didn't let nobody know it because
dude, we
everybody
knew.
Everybody there was hating on me. Everybody wanted Masvidal to win. So I was like, I was just sitting there with like this blank face. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah, like Masvidal's foot going like, whoa.
Yeah.
Diaz did not look good. Oh, man. Well, I don't know, man. I'm just excited for another Masvidal event.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, we can do that at the new place. We got that big freaking TV, and we're going to make a party out of it. Like, we're gonna throw down.
We need to, we need to be like Buffalo Wild Wings in Roanoke. I don't know if I told you this, but video went viral after the McGregor fight. They had a brawl out in the mall parking lot.
For real?
Yeah, it's like, this is funny. It's like, I don't know what those people were thinking. It was like, they was like, oh, I just watched the McGregor fight, so I magically just grew hands because I watched this fight on TV.
But UFC makes people want to fight, so that's Okay. Well, who knows what's next? But let's move on. So we've got Stephen A. Smith as the commentary sports analyst for this fight. Pissed a lot of people off.
Dude, it was terrible, man.
So what happened? He said Cowboy was weak, or he threw it, or he quit. He quit. That's
Stephen
what he
A.
said.
Smith shouldn't have been commentating MMA with Joe Rogan and them, anyways. Yeah, I know he's the man at ESPN. He gets $8 million a year. He's the top guy on ESPN. He's on all the shows and everything. He just doesn't have enough knowledge on this sport, like the way he talks and stuff. I mean, honestly, we talk about it better. We break down fights better.
Which is bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
which is bad.
That's really bad.
Yeah. And he just doesn't use like good terminology when he's talking about it and stuff. And he criticizes so many people across sports. That's why I don't understand why he didn't take this criticism good as much as he criticizes athletes on a daily basis. But essentially what he said that rubbed people the wrong way, other than his, awful commentary and breakdown on the fights, was that he said he said that Cowboy was
He quit.
yeah, he said that Cowboy was quit and took the easy way out and just pretty much bashed him, saying that he didn't show up for the spotlight and all this. And I really just, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Joe Rogan actually talked about it on his podcast, his last podcast. He said that Stephen A. Smith being on that UFC card was bad for everybody. He was like, it's bad for me, it's bad for him. It was bad for ESPN. He was like, there's so many other knowledgeable people that can do this. And he sat there and called a fighter a quitter when he's never done that in his life.
Yeah.
Like when me and you talk about people on here, we're stating, if we ever talk, I'm not saying we talk bad about people, but if we ever make a statement that might seem bad, it's coming from another fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've never
absolutely.
said, anybody's a quitter. I've never been through what they've been through, so I'm not ever gonna question somebody's manhood.
Yeah. Well, like someone like Michael Bisping could say, "Oh, he quit," because he's been there.
Yeah.
Now he might just be shit talking, or he might be telling the truth.
Yeah.
But he's been there, so he can actually say that. So and then Smith came out with a boxing video. You all should look at this. It's really funny. Marcus showed me before the podcast, and he was, I don't even know who his trainer was, but for someone
the trainer should be catching fire too for
Yeah.
holding pads like that.
Yeah, so the dude was holding one pad up here and one down here, like next to his knee, while Anthony Smith was like throwing one punch towards the knee.
You said Anthony Smith.
Oh crap! Sorry, Steven Smith.
Anthony Smith.
We got Anthony Smith right below Steven Smith. So we got Steven Smith here throwing punches that looks like it's going down towards someone's crotch, parallel to their knee. Then one that's like beside someone's head, like it's
and he wasn't
ugly.
holding his hands up. It was ugly. His jab was like, so when the trainer would be like jab, he would jab, and the trainer was holding the pad at the knee. So Stephen A. Smith was throwing left jabs at the knee.
I thought they were like left hooks, like it was like boom.
Yeah, but the trainer was saying jab.
Oh yeah, you're right, man. Yeah. But they were left hooks, like because his stance was, with your left as your main, unorthodox. Right? Yeah. I get them mixed up. Which one's orthodox or unorthodox?
I don't even think he was doing either one, man.
It was just like his right foot was forward, so that meant his left hand was more powerful. So his left was his hook.
Yeah.
But like you said, his trainer was like jab. Like you don't jab like this.
The
like,
trainer should be catching fire too. Because if I'm holding pads for somebody, I'm gonna make them throw the combos right. I'm just not gonna sit there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna do it to make them better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna sit here and hold pads like this and let you hit them. No, I'm gonna put them at you.
Yeah.
That way you have to respond like actual. I know it's still not an actual fight, but it's simulating movements. It's simulating like fists coming at you.
I wish somebody from the heavyweight division would fight him. Like, that'd be so fun. Like you could put anybody on him, Lewis.
Yeah.
Like anybody. Like it ain't even gotta be someone good. Like let's get someone on the back we ain't really heard of. Let's get like Mark Hunt or someone who ain't fought in years. Like. Let's let them two fight, just for a fun as hell fight.
Dude, the way he punched those pads, he would never land. He would get finished by somebody that. He would get finished by somebody that. I don't know.
He'd be finished quicker than Askren.
The worst person. He'd get finished by the worst person at Rough and Rowdy.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
he wouldn't even land a strike. It would be worse than McGregor versus Cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, we could get someone small. Like, let's get Pacquiao. Let's get Manny Pacquiao on him.
Oh, well, Pacquiao will tear up anybody.
Oh, yeah, man. And this dude's like 2 or 3 times his weight. Like, that's a big dude. So, that's funny, man. A lot of people gave him crap. I'd love to see him fight somebody. Like, if he's going to start throwing pads, that means you're ready to fight.
Yeah. Just don't let him do it again, ESPN.
Nah, man.
Listen to fan feedback for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, I guess we'll move on to recap 166. So, Fight Night 166 was last night. We had JDS and Curtis Blades. Blades won. That's exciting. It was TKO.
Yeah, it was TKO in the second or third round. The good thing, the crazy thing about this fight is I thought this was a very good matchup. I was excited for this. It was in North Carolina. I thought this was a good card to be in Raleigh. I thought it was a great card. I expected, and I know Curtis Blades said this from the start. He said he didn't care. Junior Dos Santos was, he's one of the best strikers in that heavyweight division. He was like, I'm going to take him down. I know he has a good takedown defense. He was like, I'm going to keep going for the takedown. I'm going to land takedowns. I'm eventually going to break their wheel.
Yeah.
He could not land a takedown. Junior Dos Santos stuffed every single takedown.
Yeah.
It really, I was like, well, dag, his game plan's gone. I know who's going to win the fight. Nope. Did not work like that. Get to the second round. Junior Dos Santos, the way he was holding his fist was kind of weird. He was like putting one hand out. He was ready to stuff the takedown. And then so he wasn't really guarding his face. The weird thing, too, is when he was throwing, he was leading with uppercuts. Now, I've never, like, my training background and stuff isn't, like, high level like these guys, but I listen to how, people break down. And I've heard before, never lead with an uppercut. I've heard it's, like, one of the worst things you could do in a fight is lead with the uppercut. The uppercut needs to come after a combo, after a strike, after a jab, after a
anything.
Hook.
Yeah,
anything. And DC was like, why is he leading with uppercuts? That is going to get him in trouble. And as soon as he said that, and I mean, that's why we have to have commentators like DC, like Joe Rogan. They literally speak stuff into existence. But he was like, why is he leading with those uppercuts? He's going to get rocked.
Yeah.
And, he was leading with those uppercuts. Curtis Blades started mixing it up a little bit. We usually don't see Curtis Blades like real vicious on the hands. We usually don't see him stand and strike a lot. He started mixing it up. He ends up TKOing Junior Dos Santos after one of those uppercuts. One of those lead uppercuts is what started it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The lead uppercut, he was leaving his face.
And I think it tagged.
Yeah, he got him with the overhand right. It tagged him at first.
Tagged him, but it kind of skimmed.
Mm-hmm.
While Blades was just Blades had this fist on his face, and he was just going at it boom, 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 boom. And it was over. Yeah,
Blades is a problem, man. He's going to be a problem for that heavyweight division. I don't know what's next for him, though. He called out, or he didn't call out. He said that he wants a title shot and nothing else. But the tricky thing about that, man, is a lot of people in that heavyweight division are vouching for a title shot right now. Francis Ngannou is number 2, right? Yeah. Curtis Blades is number 4. Curtis Blades has been knocked out by Francis Ngannou twice.
Oof.
Yeah, so you can't do that third fight, so he's in your way. Francis Ngannou has a fight against Rosenstruck next.
Yeah.
I know Rosenstruck's new to the division, but one of those guys, I feel like if Francis beats him, Francis has more of a he has more, what's the word for it?
Francis has more
of a persuasion to get the title shot.
Oh, well, yeah. He's more of a needle mover, I guess.
Yeah, but then again, after everything DC's done, all the accomplishments he's had, he beat Stipe once. He gave him the rematch. He deserves the rematch.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think we all know, DC Stipe is next.
It has to be, yeah.
And I think that's it for DC.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Dana White said, he has a lot of respect for DC. He's going to give him that fight next. That's the only thing that, after all the money DC has made Dana White over the years, Dana's going to make sure he goes out right.
Yeah.
How he wants to. So, I mean, exactly. Whether he wins or not, this is going to be his last fight. But he deserves it. The heavyweight division won't be on hold anymore. Hopefully this fight will happen over the summer.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that heavyweight division is always tricky anyways. Anybody in the top 10 can get a title shot at any time. That's just the way the heavyweight division works.
Well, because when you only have 10 people
and
they've all fought each other, you kind of know.
Dude, they all have fought each other. That's the crazy thing.
That's what makes it so tricky. So that's why we could see someone who's 6 get a title shot.
Yeah.
But, I think I really believe we're gonna see DC Stipe next, and then we're gonna see Stipe Ngannou.
Yeah,
I think that's next.
Oh, we're gonna see Stipe Ngannou. Even if we're gonna see Stipe, even if he loses the title to DC, he's gonna turn around and get a title shot again. Because if DC wins, he's gonna vacate it.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna probably have Stipe Ngannou 2 for the, or they might give Stipe a break if he loses and then say, okay, Curtis Blades Ngannou 3.
Maybe.
I don't think that makes sense.
That'd be a harder sell.
I think Stipe Ngannou 2 makes more sense.
Yeah. That'd be, yeah, I gotta agree.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for them just to announce that fight already. We got some big fights this year.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm ready to start seeing them. Like, I'm ready to see Masvidal again. Ready to see Diaz again.
Romero.
I'm ready.
Adesanya.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ready. Yeah. Oh, that's
JJ.
gonna be a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. But then last night we also had RDA and Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, Michael Chiesa.
Chiesa.
This was a good fight for the welterweight division. Two top guys going at it in the co-main event. I knew this was going to be a tough one for RDA. Michael Chiesa, he's just so big, man. I don't understand how he made 155. He's so tall, dude. He looks like a freaking 185er at
155.
At 170.
Oh, yeah. You said 155.
And RDA, the thing with RDA that's tough. I know RDA was having terrible weight cuts at 155. He was a pretty good champion at 155. He was having terrible weight cuts, so he moves up to 170. He had very early success at 170. But then he just couldn't get past those top 5. And it seems like he's just too small. It seems like he doesn't have the weight to be able to grapple with these guys at 170. So RDA is in a very tough position. But Michael Chiesa ended up winning, what was it? I can't remember. 3rd round. I know he won by submission. Or no, he won by decision. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
He won by 3rd round unanimous decision. He then called out Colby Covington. Michael Chiesa is the number 5 ranked welterweight, I believe. So
that's not bad.
He called out Colby,
which is silly because Covington's out for a couple months.
Yeah, well, they're saying May. That's when he supposedly wants to return. I don't think this makes sense though. As much as I hate to say it, Colby, he's a draw. You got to put him against somebody that makes sense, and that's a draw.
Yeah.
Maybe if Woodley beats Leon Edwards,
you could see that.
We could see that. I feel like they're gonna make Woodley's, and we'll get into this later. We're talking about Leon Edwards and Woodley, but they're gonna make Woodley's redemption to a title pretty hard. So I feel like Colby's gonna get in a big fight. He's not gonna main event a pay-per-view, but I feel like he might co-main against somebody.
Yeah.
Or if they want to do a 5-round fight, he's gonna headline the fight night. He's gonna fight somebody that's a draw.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the number 2 contender right now. Woodley's,
is it?
Yeah, Woodley's still number 1. He hasn't went anywhere yet in the rankings. But so I understand the call out. It does make sense if this was a regular sport, not based on popularity. But if it was just based on rankings, but it's not based on rankings.
No, it's about popularity.
A lot of other stuff goes into it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Who's next for Michael Chiesa then?
I don't know, man. That 150 or that 170 division, everybody's kind of got fights. It's booked up. Santiago Ponzinibbio, I think he doesn't have a fight. I know he's coming back from an injury, so maybe that makes sense.
Maybe. Yeah, he's just kind of at a weird spot too, being number 5.
Yeah.
Because everyone above him is booked. Everyone below him, you don't really want to fight below you.
Yeah.
So you're trying to work the way up the ladder. So he's at a weird spot right now. I get why he called out Covington, but you kind of got to know your place.
Yeah.
But where Covington lost, maybe that is his place now. Maybe Dana's like, oh, you lost?
Yeah.
I'll get you to fight whoever I want you to fight. Like, because it wasn't the old Covington. So
yeah.
Because old Covington would not have fought Chiesa.
No.
But now with a loss and broken jaw, that could be the case.
Yeah.
But then we had our local boy Tony Gravely and Brett Johns.
Southwest Virginia,
Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Tony Gravely. He lost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That sucked, man. I was really pulling for him during this fight. Watching all the stuff, I got to learn more about him before the fight when they was kind of breaking it down with advertising the fight, hyping it up before it happened.
Yeah.
I found out that he trains with Virginia Tech Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So he trains with them. And, dude, it was tough. This Brett Johns guy is tough, man. I really wanted Tony to win this fight because this Brett Johns guy, he's fought Aljamain Sterling. He fought another guy. And, I mean, so he's already fought these, like, top 5 bantamweights. He lost against them. But this Brett Johns guy, he's had the experience.
Yeah.
So I knew this was going to be a tough fight for Tony, but I really wanted him to win. And, dude, he went out there and showed that he is one of the best bantamweights in this division. I feel like Tony can be a champion at one point.
Yeah.
This dude was just but these two guys put on a heck of a grappling match. Like, they showed they are top tier wrestlers in the UFC. It was tough because that first round Brett Johns won. He really controlled on the ground and everything. Second round, Michael Bisping said Tony won that round. I could see that. I wanted to say he won just because of my, likeness towards him.
Yeah, but it could have been.
But Brett Johns got 4 takedowns. He got a takedown right there at the end, and Tony had 3 in that round. But
so it could have been Brett Johns too.
Bisping and DC were giving it to Gravely, so they were saying 1-1 going into the third. Tony started out the third really good, but then he got this Brett Johns guy just caught him on the ground and in a control position. It was tough. He was put in a couple of different submissions. He got out of them, but he ended up getting put in the guillotine kind of later towards that latter part of the third, and ended up having to tap. But I really got to see how good and high level a fighter Tony is after that. I mean, you just fought a dude that he's had the experience. He's had so many fights. He's already fought Aljamain Sterling. That's possibly about to get a title shot. He's fought some of these top guys. And I also found out that Tony's actually had like 24 professional fights before he even got in the UFC. So he has a lot of experience too. And he had won 19 of those 24.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I have a lot of respect, dude. He made Southwest Virginia proud for that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'd love to see him make it to the top and be like, we met him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so cool yesterday hearing Bruce Buffer say, and now to Christiansburg, Virginia. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's us.
Yeah.
So, that's so cool, man.
Tony's definitely got big fans in us, man. We want to get him on the podcast. So.
It'd be cool as hell. I think he might do it.
Yeah.
Especially, if we were like, look, you ain't even got to go far. We're in Blacksburg.
Yeah.
He might be like, okay, I'll do that. So, that would just be awesome as hell. So, I'd love to get him on the podcast just to talk to him and be like, dude, you're a legend.
Yeah, dude, and his story would be great. He grew up his dad was like a karate instructor, so he's been in it all his life. I feel like the podcast with him would be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. But, we also had Cyborg and Julia Budd fought. We talked about that a second ago.
Yeah.
They fought in Bellator. Julia Budd was the champion, and Cyborg put her down.
No warm-up fights for the GOAT.
No,
she's back in this GOAT.
Yeah, she's a king. So, and that just showed, like you said, no warm-up fights, no nothing. She went in there and dominated. And, watching her TKO Julia Budd, beautiful. And she was just throwing it, man. So, what's next? What's next for the king? You stepped in to a new promotion, beat their champion on your first fight. What do you do after that?
Crossover promotional fight. Dana needs to do it. Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg, Bellator champion versus UFC champion. Don't put the belts on the line. This is for legacy.
It'd be hard to put belts on the line for a different promotion.
Yeah, this is for legacy. That's the only thing that's next.
I guess. Unless she wanted to go fight Garcia.
That's her training partner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she can't fight Garcia. Dude, I love those Garcia fights, though.
Yeah. So Cyborg needs to be put back in this GOAT conversation, or as this new thing they're coming out with, GWOAT, greatest women of all time.
GWOAT. I like it, man. It's fair.
Yeah, people are talking about that. I mean, we're talking Cyborg, man. No other fighter has ever done this. She's holding 4 top uh, promotional belts.
Yeah.
She's the only fighter to hold a UFC belt and a Bellator belt other than Eddie Alvarez. They're the only two that's ever did that.
Yeah.
But we're talking Chris Cyborg, Strikeforce champion, Invicta champion, Bellator and UFC. Nobody's ever done that.
And that's what I'm saying, man. She's at the top and she's not stopping. So what really is next for her?
That's why I don't get why Dana White let her go, man.
She's a rebel.
I rewatched the Amanda fight. Cyborg was all guns blazing, but she hit Amanda. I feel like this second fight, you're gonna take it. You're gonna. She put hands on Amanda at the beginning, but Cyborg's kind of got. She had that thing like, oh, I'm gonna go all out. You know, she's not caring about being strategic about it. But I'm gonna tell you what, she's one of the best ever. Going into this rematch, she's gonna be strategic about it. I don't think there's not a good chance we'll see it now, but it should have. Dana should have kept her. That's all I'm saying.
It would have been nice.
Yeah.
But she made a statement because she's the king.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, though. It's hard to predict what's next for her. I guess if she wanted to fight Nunes, that's really all that's next. But I don't know if Dana wants that. But then in that case, what's next for Nunes either? So
there's nothing
for either
they
one.
They need to fight each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so they're both kind of in a corner. And so Bellator and UFC are in a corner, while Nunes and Cyborg are in a corner. Neither one has anything next for each person, but they're both needle movers. Like, it's like saying, I ain't got nothing for Masvidal or McGregor. Like, what do I do with these two? Like, it'd be a good fight, but for some reason we ain't doing it. Like, it's silly. So who knows what's going to happen? I think pride's getting in the way.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Any comments on that?
Nah.
Well, that's kind of hard to comment on because there's nothing left.
Yeah, that's what sucks.
Well, we got Anthony Smith versus Clover Teixeira.
Yeah, just going over some recent
announcements. They're fighting for UFC Lincoln.
Yep, the main event of UFC Lincoln.
That's exciting.
Kind of sucks that Anthony Smith, being ranked number 2, has to go and fight a ranked number 9, but that division's kind of booked up. So gotta do what you gotta do if you want to get back towards a title shot against John Jones.
Yeah, and I gotta agree. Like, that's all you gotta just keep working your way up.
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone's trying to go after Jones right now, so but like you said, it sucks for you, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Who are you rooting for?
I mean, I think Anthony Smith's going to win. Glover Teixeira, he's kind of one of those guys that loves fighting. I think Glover Teixeira is 43, 44 years old, maybe 45. He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But he loves it, man. So I think Anthony Smith's going to win, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with that. So then we got Kevin Lee and Charles Oliveira.
I love this fight.
They're going to be in UFC Brazil on March 14th.
Yeah, I love this fight, man. I think I've told you this before. I think Kevin Lee's going to be a champion by 2021. We almost seen him finish Tony Ferguson, which is getting the thought. Tony Ferguson might be the champion, and Kevin Lee almost finished him. And he had staff. I believe he's one of those top guys. But Kevin Lee is taking these fights that nobody wants, man. You remember when we seen him knock out Gunnar Gillespie with that head kick at the Diaz Masvidal pay-per-view?
Yeah.
He knocked out Gunnar Gillespie. Gunnar Gillespie was 10-0. He was this fearful wrestler that nobody in that division wanted to face. Kevin Lee took that. Now he's going to Brazil, to Charles Oliveira's home country, to headline against him. Charles Oliveira's like on a 7-fight win streak, 7 submissions. Charles Oliveira's a monster. Kevin Lee's also stated that he wants it in his contract that when he beats Charles Oliveira, he wants to headline in the summer on UFC Russia against Islam Makhachev, which is Khabib's training partner.
Yeah.
So then, after headlining in Brazil in enemy territory, you're going to go to Russia and headline in enemy territory.
Ballsy.
I just think it's amazing what he's doing, man. If he wins, if he actually goes through and completes all these objectives he's set for himself, It's just going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's already made a hell of a name for himself. But just taking these fights that no one else wants.
These are dangerous. That's what he said. He said, "Man, I was chasing those big fights, but now I just want to chase the fights that nobody wants."
Yeah.
Danger. Not nobody's wanting because they ain't good. Nobody's wanting because they don't want to take a chance on their position that they're in right now.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of pride in that. So and that's going to get him to the top, though.
Yeah.
Like, the UFC is going to be like, damn, he's a great fighter. Like, let's give him a title shot. Then he's going to get a title shot and win. So, well, if he keeps it up.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like that's what we see when people get on these kind of, like, win streaks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just keep going. They're riding that train all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Definitely rooting for Lee.
Oh, yeah, me too.
He's a bad dude.
That's one of my favorite fighters. So,
So then what's going on with Leon Edwards?
So Leon Edwards claims that, him and Tyron Woodley are headlining UFC London, I believe, March 21st. He claims that in his contract that he signed to fight Tyron Woodley, that it is stated in his contract if he beats Tyron Woodley, he's next to fight for a title shot. Whether it's Usman, whether it's the winner of Masvidal Usman, he gets a title shot next. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because if Woodley hasn't stated that's in his contract, or is the same going to be returned to Woodley if he wins?
That's a fair thought, though. And I've got to go ahead and say no.
I agree with you. It's not.
Yeah. So if Woodley wins, he's going to have to fight Covington.
Yeah.
But now if he beats Covington, I think the UFC is going to be like, okay, we'll give this to you. But, okay, so if Leon... So we obviously know, like, he ain't going to get a title shot if he wins right away. But if Leon and Woodley are actually fighting, who do you think's going to win?
I mean, I'm going for Woodley. I think Woodley's going to win. Leon Edwards, he's already been beat by Usman. I know a lot of fighters have came forward and said that, like, now I just thought it was devastating watching Woodley versus Usman because, like, I've never seen Woodley, like, dude, he was out of it. I seen his face in the first round. He didn't want to be in there.
No, like you could tell he was done.
And I've heard fighters say that, like, that wasn't Tyron Woodley, like other fighters that aren't even like I believe Masvidal even said that.
Yeah.
He did an interview talking about, I've seen Tyron Woodley and that wasn't Tyron Woodley. So I mean, if you have other fighters saying that, maybe we've seen that if you got something like mentally going wrong in your brain, anxieties, outside stuff that you're bringing into the octagon, it can really take you off your game.
So. Oh, absolutely.
But I believe he's hungry. He knows what's at stake. If he loses this fight, it's already going to be hard because of the relationship Dana White and him have. It's already going to be hard to get a title shot. Dana White is going to make this the bumpiest road ever back to a title shot.
Yeah.
But if you lose, that's just, man, that's tough. So it's a must win, and I think he understands that. He's hungry again. He's not. I liked his rap music, but he's not making it. He's not dropping all these rap tracks. He's not, doing all this stuff he was doing before. He's just in the gym.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what else hurt him because he was spreading himself too thin. Now he's just like UFC. And that's where his mind's at.
Champions need that sometimes. They need to be humbled. So
yeah, like sometimes you gotta get knocked down.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the new Woodley. Like I think we're gonna see a Woodley that we haven't seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
If him and Leon are fighting in UFC London, so that's exciting. I hope they are though. That'd be a good fight to make. So it's just weird Woodley hasn't announced it.
Oh, so, he has.
I thought you said.
He hasn't announced what's in his contract.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I thought you meant like he hasn't announced it at all.
Yeah, no, he's announced the fight, but Leon Edwards announced that that's in his contract, but I don't think it's in Woodley's.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up, but.
Yeah.
And Woodley's going into enemy territory, too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
You're going and fighting the other dude in his home country when he's ranked number 4, you're ranked number 1. I don't agree with that, but,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Dana White, man, I'm telling you, Woodley's road to the title is going to be bumpy.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that fight, though.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see Woodley again. Like, before Woodley was a champ, but you weren't, stoked to see his fights because he was just doing bare minimum.
Yeah, he had some tough, fight. Like Leon Edwards gonna strike with him, so this is what we want.
Oh yeah.
You know, we finally like his last title defense before Usman, when we seen him fight Darren Till, we finally got to see somebody that was gonna stand up and strike with him, and Darren Till didn't land but one strike. Yeah. Woodley dominated him.
Exactly.
So we like to see when Woodley going against strikers.
When Woodley is Woodley.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We have no fights next weekend.
Yep, no fights. So,
but that doesn't mean we're not doing a podcast though. So the Fight Bros podcast is starting something new. When either we're running out of topics or there's no fights.
Yep.
And so let's introduce this.
So I'm sure if everybody's watched like Joe Rogan, you know how Joe Rogan has his MMA series, and then he has the Joe Rogan Experience, where they get guests on, they talk about whatever. So we're gonna start that. We're gonna start something new. It's gonna be a sub series within the Fight Bros podcast. It's gonna be the Fight Bros slightly off topic.
Do you think it should just be Fight Bros podcast off topic?
Yeah, either.
Because sometimes we're going like.
It's going to be all the way off topic.
Yeah, it seems like we're going way off topic. So, like, maybe we'll take slightly on it. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, whatever.
Fight Bros podcast.
Off topic. But it's pretty much going to be similar to, like, the Joe Rogan Experience. We're going to be just talking about different stuff.
Anything.
Nothing really related to fights. There might be some related to fights, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. Do you want to dive into some of the subjects, or do you just want to leave that up to surprise?
Well, it's going to be a surprise, but right off the bat, you know, probably one of the first ones we'll have within that Fight Bros podcast off topic. You know, me and Albert we're really into like cryptozoology. Well, I am, but you know, me and Albert like talking about it, cryptozoology. So we're just like talking about the existence of creatures that are myths that haven't really been physically found. That's what we'll say. Yeah, so we're talking about Bigfoot, we're talking about Mothman, aliens, Bob Lazar, Loch Ness Monster, different stuff like that. Yeah. So that'll probably be our first one.
Then like we'll throughout the Fight Bros podcast off topic, FBP off topic.
Yeah,
that sounds good, man. FBP.
Yeah,
off topic. Like that's cool. We'll get into everything, personal lives, whatever, man. So
yeah, we've had some
really
friends
exciting.
that have been wanting to get on,
but they're just don't know much about UFC.
They're kind of intimidated to talk about UFC. So we'll talk about whatever. We might do one after the Super Bowl and talk about the Super Bowl, talk about different stuff. It's just gonna be on different stuff. We might have different guests that aren't on here to talk about fights. Maybe there's something special about that guest. Maybe something they do or something that we get on here and talk about.
So, yeah, absolutely. So it's exciting.
Yeah, so that's gonna be exciting. We're gonna hopefully everybody will join that, because if you don't like talking about fights, or you don't like listening about fights, that'll be interesting. It'll just be different kind of stuff, interesting, different kind of facts you didn't know. Maybe you'll learn something new on one of those podcasts.
yeah, like that's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think those will just be a lot of fun to do.
Oh yeah.
So, well, any last remarks?
Nope.
Well, I think that's everything for Fight Bros podcast number 22.
Yep.
Hope you all have been enjoying. We found a good way to get things out there quicker.
Yeah, we've definitely been getting them uploaded quicker. I'm sure a couple of people have noticed.
But. Yeah, because before sometimes we weren't getting them uploaded till like Thursday or Friday, but life. So now we kind of found a way that just kind of automates it.
Yeah,
and it's nice. Then as the Fight Bros podcast franchise company incorporated grows, I'm excited to get bigger, better equipment. Maybe like we'll get a whole building.
That'd be nice to have like a
when one of us gets a house
directed to it.
Yeah. When one of us gets a house, we can build a small building.
Yeah,
where it's like that's the Fight Bros building.
Yeah.
So you go in there, all your equipment's in there. Like it'd be cool, man. So who knows what? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. We're scrubbed.
Yeah. So who knows what's in the future, but we're both excited. So, well, thank you all for listening.
Yep. Thanks, guys.